Sit. How you do, sir?
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, sir. Good to see you. Oh. Oh, please. I'm proud to do it. Let me do one thing real quick, and then I want to talk, okay? Where did Rebecca go? Oh, come on here. Oh, right here. Okay, I'm sorry. I got behind something and got delayed today and everything that I'm not going to apologize for. They're patching the road up there on right on the side. Good stuff. And in fact, they look like flies running all over the place. I was really proud of them and everything. And when I go back, I'm going to stop by and, talk to them. I usually stop by and talk to them, and then they say, holy what? But nevertheless, it's good. It's good. We got a big undertaking to try to do anything and everything we possibly can to get our secondary roads up to speed too. Now, while I'm on that, I want to just talk just 1 second about that, and that's this. When you look at, if you could just go back to when I walked in the doors, the biggest thing we had to do, the very biggest challenge that we had to do was come up with a way to generate revenue. I mean, you had to. I mean, in all honesty, we could say we could have the best intentions in the world, but if we don't have any revenue, the net of the whole thing is, you can't, God, everybody gets that. That's easy as it can be. You have to have revenue. You have to have jobs to generate revenue. Now, it's really important for me that you understand this, because you see, I'm the guy, here's how I operate. I'm not a guy that has run businesses by standing there and telling this person you do this on the assembly line, and this person you do this, and nobody has a clue what each other does. There's a company called Volvo, and there's another company called Team of people, and they followed the car all the way through, or the washing machine all the way through, and they had a lot of pride in that. And that was their philosophy. Well, that's mine. That's exactly what I've always done. I've always tried to explain to everybody where we're going, and then everybody get behind it and everybody pull the rope, and it works. And it's worked everywhere. I would challenge you anywhere and everywhere. You can go to anything that I've run or anything that we still own and talk to the people there, and they'd fight a grizzly bear for me because they know I'd fight it for them. And that's the way we've done it. Well, in the state, that's why I think it's important always for you to know what had to be done. And here's exactly what had to be done. You had to generate revenue. You had to have jobs. Well, that's easy for a politician to stand up and say, got to do. But at the end of the day, how are you going to do it? How in the world are you going to do it? Are you going to go out here and level off a piece of land and then say, well, we hope somebody's going to come and put a factory out there? That's not going to work. You've got to have jobs right now, right this second. That's where the Roads to Prosperity thing came into being. Really and truly, because if we could let every road job boom on day one, every job, then we could create an instant job. instant job. Well, in doing so, all the projects that were on the books, that's what we could let. That's what we could bond. That's what we did. And you were good enough to really support it. And all of a sudden, boom, off we go. Off we go. You know what else we did when we did that? Is we changed our image a bunch. People on the outside world said, what's going on in West Virginia? Well, you know how good it is here, but the outside world didn't know. Now, we took off with all the projects that we had on the books, but now we've got to pivot. And the reason we've got to pivot, we got it going. Now all of a sudden the revenue numbers are cooking. I mean, the revenue numbers are coming in great, you know, through a lot of efforts from a lot of different people, these great senators and Delegate Painter and everybody that's pulled the rope in lots of different ways. Things are working. Now, all of a sudden now, we know that building a great big interstate bridge or whatever like that is very important. There's no question. It's got to be done, and it will be done. But we've got to fix your road so you can get to the convenience store too. That's all there is to it. We just don't need to keep banging around on the roads, tearing our vehicles all to pieces. So we got to do it. We got to find a way. So that's what we're trying to do. So when I passed those people up there, I just loved it. I loved it to death. I loved it sitting there, and I knew I was going to be late, and I said, this is good enough, you know. But so now today we've got some more good news, and the good news is this: you know how important water is to all of us. You know, I'd say most everybody in this room takes going over and turning the water on just for granted almost. But those that don't have it, you know, are destitute for it. It's the very lifeblood of all of us. And when you don't have water, that's pretty doggone tough. So this today, I don't know, I had a note here somewhere. I don't usually look at my notes, but it was amazing. It's like 25,000 linear feet. It's $1.3 million, I remembered that, but it's 25,000 linear feet. That's a long ways. You know, that's all there is to it. Of new water lines that will be able to reach Upper Huff Creek, Brush Fork, and Road Fork areas. There'll be a 54,000 gallon water storage tank to booster the booster station, and it'll help 200 people. It'll touch 200 people today. And then, as we go forward, we just got to do more and more and more and more. So, nevertheless, you know, today's a good day. Today's a good day in Wyoming County. Now, you saw me run back there and talk to Rebecca. You know, Rebecca, I hear it all the time. You know, I'm a Pineville girl, Wyoming County girl, and all that kind of thing. And that's really great stuff. It's really, really great. You know, let me tell you something. We got coal trucks out there running, and we've got coal miners back to work. And we got room to have a whole lot more coal miners go back to work. And I say this, I'm a numbers guy. I think in 1981, we mined 1997, we mined 181 million tons of coal in West Virginia. Now, stay with me on that number just a second. 181 million tons. When I walked in the door, we were mining probably, I don't know, 75, 74. Today, we've got it up to where we're, in October, if you use October's numbers, you know, we were at 102 million ton run rate. So to go from 75 to 102, you know, that's about a 30%, 33 or whatever percent increase in total coal miners that are working. You know, big time deal. But the great part about it is, what if we went from 102 to 181? It's unbelievable, unbelievable. And you may think, well, wait a minute here. That's never going to happen again. It's just never going to happen again. Well, see, I don't operate that way. 2 days ago, I had the assistant or the assistant deputy secretary that was in charge of fossil fuels in the United States, works right directly with Rick Perry in my office at the mansion. And we went over over and over and over everything. I went, and this is way off the subject, but we'll talk about the water lines in just 1 second, because this is really meaningful to us. I went to the president and said, Mr. President, now there's times when, bless him with all my soul, I love him totally to death, and he's my buddy, but he is tough to focus at times because he's all over the board. He's so blooming smart, and he's got everything coming at him like a fire hose, but he's all over the board a lot of times. I've been there in the Oval Office, sitting right across the desk from him. And you know that desk is world famous in lots of ways and everything. And I have literally been right across the desk just fumbling around like I do, you know, just I'm all the time moving. And all of a sudden I hit something underneath the desk and this drawer just went and just opened right to me. I'm dead serious. If I drop dead, I'm telling you the gospel fact. And I shut it back real quick because I thought, my God, women, what is going on here? But you know, a lot of the stuff you saw in that movie, National Treasure, real stuff. It's real stuff. You know, but anyway, I'm sitting right across the desk from him, and Donald's all over the board, and I finally just said, gee, Christmas, I'm trying to tell him about this coal deal, and it's really important. And I stood up and just reached across the table or desk and grabbed him by the shoulder. I said, Donald, you have got to listen to me. And then as I was holding him, I said to myself, what in the hell am I doing? I mean, this is the president. I mean, the president of the United States, you know, and then, you know, I started thinking about really not Rebecca, but a Wyoming County girl. You know, my grandparents, one set came from over in Huff Mountain at Cyclone. Other set came from Copperston. My dad, an only child. My mom, one of 10 kids. 3 of them were in the war at the same time. You know, didn't have indoor plumbing. You know, I owe my whole life to Wyoming County. I owe my whole life to coal. You know, I'm very proud of it. And so in all of that, if I could just end by just saying this, we want to grow coal mine jobs. We want to substantially grow coal mine jobs if it's at all possible. The only way we can do it is one way, and it's just this, and here's all there is to it. We have got to convince our president and our government that if we lose the eastern coal fields, if we lose them, you know, we are putting our nation in peril like you can't imagine. Now stay with me and just think about this. And this is exactly what I told our president. I said, Donald, think about this for a second. What if the eastern coal fields die? And they're going to die, or they would die, because we're just not competitive. We can't be. We're mining seams this high. In the Illinois Basin, they're mining a 20-foot seam, and in the Powder River Basin, it's 60 foot. For crying out loud, they mine more coal with one machine and one man than we can do with 500 people. But those 500 people are jobs, and they're really, really, really important to us and to me and to our nation. Now let me tell you why. Let's just say we awaken to a situation where the eastern coal fields were dead. They almost died 2 or 3 years ago. They almost completely dried up and died 2 or 3 years ago. But what if they were dead? What if they were completely gone? And they can be. And then we were dependent upon Western coal and natural gas, period. That's what fueled the whole electric grid. The whole thing, from Florida all the way up through the Northeast. What happens, Donald, if I put a bomb on a junction point of natural gas line and you put a bomb on one western bridge and they go off? What happens if there's no eastern coal fields? What happens? And he looked at me and just got so somber and got so quiet and said, now I get it. And it's a homeland security issue, period. Period. That's all there is to it. You know, and I was handing him the plan on how to protect our nation. Because if that happens, and it's in the dead of the winter, we're going to lose hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. Now we are, period. Because it's not going to be fixed just like that. And if it's in the dead of the winter, it is a crisis like you can't fathom. Now that's all there is to it. And so what we have to do is preserve the greatness that we have here. Now our metallurgical coals, that's another thing. But I'm talking about our thermal coals right here in West Virginia because, and in Kentucky, basically the Northern App and Central App coal. If you don't have that, where you can put it in a truck and keep that power plant running, you're exposed. That's all there is to it. You can't put coal in a truck in Wyoming and keep Florida Power and Light running or Duke Power running. You can't keep it running, and the electric grid would incinerate. Now, what in the world would happen? Millions would probably die. So he gets it. So my whole thing was to propose a Homeland Security incentive payment to the power plants for every ton of coal that they buy from Northern App or Central App coal. It's the same thing we do for cheese or ethanol or whatever it may be, exactly the same thing. And basically what it does is it ensures our place at the table. Now, we haven't gotten that done quite yet, but the guy that's second in command in the energy department is sitting right in my desk and he says, we got to get this across the finish line. Because right now, and it's a fact, everybody's asleep at the switch. We're happy and celebrating like crazy because we've got more coal miners to work. We're happy. Steam coal is $70 a ton and everybody's happy. And everybody's asleep at the switch. What happens tomorrow if countries, underdeveloped countries like India and everything, stop buying the thermal coal? Here we go, straight down. And then all of a sudden, we're dead again. And then all of a sudden, nobody can think about what in the world to do fast enough and pivot, and we're super dead. And then we're exposed. So I didn't mean to go through all that, but I love you, and I love Wyoming County totally to death, and great judge, you know, lots of good stuff. It's all around everywhere. You know, just, you know, people that have served this county, and lots of them in this room, I know I'm gonna miss somebody, but you know, and more and more and more. I wish we absolutely could get that crazy Coalfield Expressway, you know, that we could get it finished, you know, and I'm pushing it every way I can possibly push it. And we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. So anyway, Sue and Roland, y'all come up here. Delegates, y'all come up here. And the county commissioners or whomever, and let's give away some money. Okay, I'm going to read, if I can see it now. Don't make fun of me because I got to push it away from me. Community Development Block Grant. This is to certify a grant of $1,389,000 has been awarded to the Wyoming County Commission for Upper Huff Creek, I can't say, water line extension project. And then it gets real small and I can't read anything but my signature. So, I'm going to give that to you, sir. Yeah, that's really good stuff. So we're able, you know, I think we had 13 total $1 million within our state that we could give away. This is the 10th of it. There's other counties who are going to yell at me and everything, but this is where the need is. This is the big time need. And so, you know, we're going to give away $10 million in water projects, but you got a big lick here, and we're happy for you. That's all there is to it. So that's it for me. Unless y'all got any great questions and everything, I'm out of here. Happy for you. Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank you, sir. Good seeing you again. Okay, how we doing? Great to see y'all. Hey, Roland, good to see you. Sue,
Y'all leave. I'm done. Take